Okay, so this is going to be a tutorial on how to make a Gmod S tool, because there's like literally no tutorials on it anymore, and I'm just trying to be helpful to other people that keep asking how to do it. So in the description, there's going to be an add-on with a base entity that has nothing on it and a Gmod tool. Make sure you download this, because we're just going to use this to go off of, because I don't feel like telling people how to set up a tool. It's pretty self-explanatory. This has everything you need to get started. So we'll just get right into it. Remember, this right here is totally optional. If you have this, it allows you to click on players. So if you ever want to use a player, if you ever want to use a tool or make a tool that uses a player, you need to have this. Otherwise, just remove it. Doesn't really matter. I'm just going to keep it there because I don't really care. So we're going to just show off how this tool, how STools work. So we're going to make an int with int.create, and it's going to be the int in this add-on, that int right there. Alright, so we're gonna do, we want to get the trace. Yeah, okay, sorry. We're gonna do int set pose trace dot hit. So the best way to explain this is trace is a table, and whenever you click, this table gets generated. So wherever the raycast that comes out of the tool hits, so if it like hits right there, you can see that it's gonna spawn right there. If that's the best way to explain that. There's more values in there, but you really don't need to know those. So we're gonna set the angles of this to the self get owner. This accesses the player. So this will return the local player. This is the local player that has the tool out, just so you know. And we're gonna spawn it, and we're gonna freeze it. So we're gonna do get physics object, and we will do enable motion false. And we can even set a material. Let's just set a material. Why not? We'll do wireframe. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So now, if we click, we have a tool, or we have this little entity spawning as the wireframe. That's just a good little example on how you can make stuff. So we're gonna do the same. Now we're gonna remove this whenever we right click. Okay. So I think it's trace local int equals trace dot int. Hold on, let me double check the wiki for that, because I'm not sure myself. Hold on. So it'd be trace tool. Hold on. It would be trace.entity. Okay. So if is valid int and int dot, oh, that's perfect. Copilot just totally did that for me. So if the entity is valid and the entity's class is the class that is the same class that we spawned earlier, then we're gonna remove it. That's the best way to explain this. It's just kind of, you can copy that, pause the video, whatever. Best way to explain how that works. You should know LUA if you're watching this video. You should know a good portion of it. I don't really need to explain how most of this works. But now, if we right click it, it deletes them. And if you right click a normal entity, it's not going to do anything because it's not the entity we spawned in. So that's a basically working S tool, honestly. I mean, yeah. So we're going to do a thing now. I'm going to teach you how to make convars. So this convar, we're going to allow the player to make their own material. It's just going to be a string, because I really do not feel like teaching how to do the cPanel vars and stuff. So we're going to create a new convar at the top, and it's going to be called model. Oh, not a model, sorry. Actually, that's a better idea. Yeah, we'll do model. Why not? We can honestly do both. I'll do that in a second, though. We'll just call this, we can make it spawn a watermelon, or we can make it spawn this By default, it'll be this. That's this one. Which one is it? I think it's that one. Yeah, it is. Okay. So by default, it'll be that. So how we do these, we have a function called build cpanel. Well, actually, we need to add a language. So with STOOLS, we have to, how do I explain this? So unless we add a language, it's gonna show up as what we're typing right now. So if we don't add something to make it like, if we don't add something here to change what it says, it's gonna say this. So we probably want it to say that. That makes more sense. That looks a lot better. We don't want it to be this. We want it to be just model. So in the cpanel, we're gonna add a control, and this will be a header, and this will just kind of say what it does. You can copy this. I have Copilot doing this for me. I don't really know why. I don't really care though. It's whatever. So where the fuck is the text box? I'm trying to. Okay, there we go. I figured out. All right. So we're gonna add a text box to control the material or the model. So I have the label here. The label will be hashtag tool.gm2 or not gm2. Sorry, I'm reading off of some of my other code just to make sure I do this right. What is it? Hashtag tool dot justice underscore tool, right? Yeah. Dot model. So this is just gonna take what we have up here, because if we want to reuse this for some reason, I don't know. I mean, you could just put model there. I think it'll work the same, but you know, just for the purpose, we can get rid of max length too. We don't even need that. This needs to be command. Sorry. Okay, yeah. This needs to be. So the convar creates a client command whenever you have the tool out. So how tools work is they will run this command whenever you change something in the cpanel. So this needs to be justice underscore tool underscore model. It needs to be that because this is what it is. It's justice underscore tool. Yeah. So the reason why it's not a dot is because we're not using a language. It's accessing the class and it's accessing the convar, so it's a totally different sort of. I mean, it's an underscore, not a dot. This video is kind of hard to explain, but for the most part, you should be able to follow along. So we're gonna need to rejoin the game now because this is something that cannot be hot loaded, which is a little bit of a downside. So I'm gonna pause and I'll be right back. Okay, so we're back in. We're gonna go to the tool now. As you can see, we now have a model with a default value in it, which is the one we set earlier as the client convar, this right here. So that's perfect. So now if we spawn it, it's still going to be that model. Like even if we change it, it's still going to be the default one because we're not using this model path. So we're going to do that real quick. We're going to go in here and we're going to do int set model. And we're going to get the client info of the model. So if I put like a door in here now, we'll just use the first thing I see. Press enter. It's going to change it to a door, if that makes any sense. And we can do the same thing with the material, so we're going to do that real quick. We're going to have to just refresh. We're going to rename this material, and we're going to just use wireframe as the default one because that makes more sense. We'll add a language for it. Just copy and paste, nothing special. Okay, and then down here we need to just change this out with material. Language.tool.material. Okay, cool. And then we'll do the same thing here, int set material. And then what we're gonna need to do is, this is incorrect. We're gonna need to wrap this in a material to cache it, because it needs to be a material object not just a string. So yeah, I think that's correct. Actually, you might not even need, oh, we don't even need that. I'm sorry, I'm being a little bit stupid right now. My apologies. I keep forgetting that's only stuff related with Derma, so that should work just fine. We just gotta rejoin. So once you do that, retry. I'm gonna pause again. Okay, so we're back again. So if we go to the tool now, pull it out properly, it has a material, and it's gonna, you know, oh, by the way, this will save as long as your game's open, so whatever you set this to, it saves forever, pretty sure, for the most part. And we can change out the material to be like, we can do, we'll just go to the material tool because I don't remember any of my memory. We can use like this blue one down here. Copy to clipboard. If we go back to the tool, change that out. So there's an example of our tool working perfectly as we intended it to for the most part. And all deletable. This one has a weird hitbox. Sorry, some of them have weird hitboxes. Where the fuck? There we go. That door is a little bit buggy, just a tiny bit. So, you know, we're just removing them. Now, the last thing I'll do, just to show some more examples, is we'll make this store everything you spawn so it deletes itself. If that makes any sense. We can press R to delete everything we have. So what we're gonna do, this is a server side. Everything in here is server side, by the way. Everything is server side except for this and this. So in here, we can do is local tool.data equals table. We're not gonna have anything special. So if so tool.data self get owner nick equals tool.data or table. So best way to explain this, we're gonna make a table, or we're gonna reference the table to itself, and if it's not a thing, then we're gonna make an empty table. Wait, no, is that correct? Yeah, sorry, that's proper. My bad. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do table.insert, and we'll do the table to get, and we'll do tool.data. Wait, we gotta get the max in, or sorry, table max. Oh, we can just do hashtag. That works too. And we'll spawn in the entity. We'll put the entity in this table. So now we have this. We can reference, or we're gonna want to get rid of local here. So what this is doing is it's making a table server side that has the player's nick in it, and it's gonna store the entity that we spawn in. So what we can do is we can access this table, and we can do for keys and values in pairs tool.data player nick do v remove, and we're gonna do at the end of that we will just clear the table just to make sure there's nothing in it, and just to make sure that this is a valid table, we're just gonna grab this equals tool.data or, I'm gonna do this here too just to make sure we don't keep deleting stuff. So that should work just fine actually for the most part. Oops. Tool. Oh yeah, we need to do a tool equals tool or table as well, because tool does not exist. We're just accessing an empty table. Okay. So we spawn some stuff now. We press R. We still have another error. It'd be. We'll just make a variable for this. We'll do like local player equals self get owner. That's a simple way of fixing that. I forgot player's not a valid thing. It's get owner, but we just referenced it. So we press R. all of these items get deleted. The reload, every single one of these things gets deleted. That's another example on how you can use these to do whatever you want, really. I mean, they're really whatever you intend on coding. So yeah, they're all gone. So just another little example. We'll put down a crate in here. Spawns a crate. Press R, delete them. Right click, delete them. That's a simple S tool. It's basically it. This should be easy enough to follow along. It's kind of hard to explain how these work, but if you know what you're doing, like if you know Lua a little bit, this shouldn't be too hard for you. I mean, it's just an example on how STOOLS will work. Teaches you how to use the convars. If you go on the wiki, there's more controls you can use, like sliders and stuff like that to get int values. I mean, which you could do like client convar, call this like color, and it could just be a color value like this, and that's a valid convar that you can change with like a color tool, not a color tool, decolor box or whatever. Which is another thing on the wiki you can look at, but yeah. Oh, that's a problem. What the hell? 62. If is valid v. Sorry, that would be a little bit of a bug. If you remove one and you press R, it's not in the table. We want to make sure it's valid. So there we go. My bad. But yeah, that's working now. So awesome, cool. That's it for this video. Pretty simple. Hope this helps some people. It probably will. But there you go. Tools.